let's get into the first topic here. This one has been obviously the talk of the day so far because of the NFL draft yesterday. It is Shedeur Sanders not going number one, you guys, or even, for in the first round, you know? And I'm going to take it, I'm going to tell you guys both sides of the situation. I'll explain both sides, both perspectives, how I think, and we'll go from there. So, with the one side, I think Shedeur put himself in this position. I think about it. This was a player that was talked about going first. Then it was dropped to sixth, then ninth, then 21st, then 29th, to now not even being drafted. And I think this comes because of just the arrogance and the cockiness that he had. I think it was just in press conferences. He came off way too cocky, and I think scouts did not like that. I think a big one that killed him also was that he didn't go to the draft combine. He also didn't go to the Senior Bowl when, in the combine, you've had greats like Tom Brady, Mahomes, just to name a few, perform in those. He didn't even go. He decided not to go. So that goes back also to the cockiness, which I think probably rubbed people the wrong way. And it's just was too, I think the attitude, it's good to be confident, but don't be overly confident because you never know what can happen. And I think that's what killed him. He was just too overly confident, really didn't give a crap what anybody thought of him. He thought he was the best. And look at this, it's sorry to word it this way, but it's karma, because it's like, dog, you were in college. This is NFL. It's a whole different ball game. And for him not to even perform or, at least attend the Senior Bowl and, show his performances, it's just cocky. It's too cocky and just an a-hole move. And it's happened to greats. Think about it. It happened to Aaron Rodgers. It was his attitude and stuff people didn't like. And to this day, people don't like his attitude. He's been a great player, but to this day, he rubs people the wrong way. And with Shedeur, it's that same thing. Now, me personally, I don't think Dion had anything to do with it. I know people mention, oh, it's because he's Deion Sanders' son. Here's why. Because at the end of the day, Shedeur Sanders is the one going on the field. He's the one throwing the ball. It's not Dion. He's the one throwing the ball. And when you look at his stats, it's Shedeur Sanders' stats. It's not Dion. So it's just, for people that say that, I think that's shenanigans. I get maybe they think Dion's going to be interfering and all that. Listen, he's going to be focused on his college stuff and doing what he got to do. Obviously, he's going to want the best for his kid, but he's obviously going to be focused on other things. I don't think you should be worried about what Dion's going to say or what's his opinion. Nothing of that. Because, obviously, his son is going to step up. Now, on the flip side of things, I guess this would be on Shedeur's side to say is, I don't know what the hell teams were doing yesterday. I was so confused in teams like the Steelers, the Browns, the Giants, the Saints. The Steelers, I really don't know why they didn't draft him. I thought that he was going to go to the Steelers because they need a freaking QB. They don't have a QB right now until today. Before the draft, they had nobody going in. So I know DK Metcalf is probably like, and George were like, who the hell is throwing to me? They didn't have nobody. The Giants signed James Winston first. Then they bring in Russell Wilson. They're going to have a mess at QB because now they got 3 QBs. It's not making sense to me. I thought they were going to draft them. The Browns, obviously, I think them trading their second pick, I thought they were going to get him, but they decided to go after another player, obviously. And I thought they were because you got Deshaun Watson, you got Kenny Pickett, and I forgot who was the third guy, but you got, scrubs to say. Who knows what the hell's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. The Giants, yeah, that's going to be a mess. Or the Saints. The Saints was one I didn't understand. You got basically Derek Carr with a shoulder issue. Right now, you're sitting in an icky situation with QB. Why didn't you go out and draft them? That was one that I really didn't understand. I also thought the Cowboys maybe, but it didn't happen. But listen, for Shedeur, just keep your head up. Look at one of the best right now that's playing, Lamar Jackson. When he was going to get drafted, there was a lot of BS, a lot of things said about him. It was a similar type situation, probably different ways, but it was a similar type situation. And look at him now today. He's probably top five and the best QBs right now in the game. So, you know, look at that. Look at Tom Brady. He wasn't even drafted on the first round or the first day. And look at him. He ended up being the GOAT, right? Of QBs and whatever. So just listen, take it all in. Let this be a fire that sets you up. Whoever drafts you, just go out, perform, do what you got to do, and shut everyone's mouth up. It's simple as that. Um, because hey, everything happens for a reason. And I think it was just going back to the other side. He just was too cocky for people. And I think a lot of scouts didn't like that. I think he was too, he had too much, I don't want to say confidence. It was just too much. I think I'm too good to go and do this. I'm too good to do that. And scouts didn't like it. I think that's just what messed them up. Now let's see what happens. We'll give him a chance, see what team drafts him. He's probably going to get drafted though, for sure. We'll just have to see what happens. But I don't think Dion had to do anything with it. Me personally, I think that's shenanigans. But that is my thoughts on the Shedeur. Hopefully he gets drafted. You want everybody to do good. Hopefully he does well. Hopefully he gets drafted.